There's a platform up there, but there is no way onto it. Right, down here on the south side, and cross over the foss. Not on the wall, because you can't build walls on rivers. It's another part that's been repaired at a smaller size than it used to have. A bit like the Victorian repairs that added towers that were too small to be useful. What the informative chap also told me was that the red bricklayer I noticed and mentioned and the cobble wall built out of little round stones were both Roman era, 110 AD, he said. So I remembered red brick being an Italian thing, or Roman thing, I just didn't remember it being quite that old. And apparently they built the preliminary fort, then they built on top of it. And the big stone walls, bigger stones, on top of that were, what is the use of a metal bar there? Oh. Were added by the Normans, so sort of 100 years later. Yeah. There's another wall there, but I suspect that is a far more recent wall, just holding back the soil, rather than being an ancient artifact of any sort. Can I, from here, see the next? Oh, you can sort of, past those two, just there, see the previous gate. And ahead of me is Fishergate. So, a couple of days ago I met a bloke by that gate who said they call it Fishergate, but they're wrong, it's George Street. This is George Street Gate, this one is Fishergate. But well, no, he didn't say this one is Fishergate, he just said they call out Fishergate and they're wrong. Must be Fishergate Postern Tower, which is apparently open today because they're having a festival of the city walls. Really a place for a festival. You are?
It's got a symbol on that inside. You're here at the moment.
There.
So if you were to go over that, up those steps there.
The pedestrian side of the gate. Some evidence that there used to be other things there. Possibly a latch for a iron reinforced latch for a gate with a hinge there and a mat. There will be a portcullis running in that, and that would be a double gate. Or that gate was added after the portcullis ceased to be usable. And this is it.
It's frustrating when you see it.
Well,
welcome, and I'm going to give you one of these to put around your leg because it helps us to count how many people are in the room. And then I'll give you the 1 minute introduction.
Alright. We'll park this outside while I listen. This is for the internet, so.
It's a what?
It's for the internet.
Oh, right.
So,
Okay, we're in a 500-year-old building, medieval, built in the time of Henry II, when there were still lots of warring armies roaming England, and therefore York was a bit of a prize and had to be defended. Its height is because it was a watchtower which could see down the river. And the bridge is there, and the two rivers that York plays from, which is the Ouse and the Foss, are come together just below there. So if you were there, you get a good view of what was coming up the rivers, because they were navigable, and it meant it was easy to bring an army close to you if you wanted, and artillery and the horses and all of that. If you've been walking the walls, you will have noticed you were on stone, and then you get here, you're on stone, and then there appears to be a gap. And people wonder whether something has been knocked down, but actually, this is the way it was. This is the Boxing Day floods in here. And you can see that the water came right up to the base of the tower, and that is the way it was when they built it.
I heard it was too swampy to be worth putting a wall because nobody could get in that.
Say it again.
I heard it was so swampy it wasn't worth putting a wall there because nobody could get in there anyway. Is that the
That's right.
I don't know.
The water defences were never attempted. Nobody tried to get in that way. They tended to blow up the undermine, mine under the stonework or bombarded and try and get them that way and so on. Hello.
Hello.
I'm just doing a 1 minute intro.
All right.
Which I'll repeat a bit of goodness in a minute. Okay, so where you see gaps in the walls of York, it's not because something's been knocked down. It was never there. It was water. And that's true particularly in that stretch where, near the Red Tower, where there was in fact a lake. The water has now been channeled, so you don't realise that, but it covered the whole of the area. It's a low-lying area of York, and during the Boxing Day floods, in fact all of that was underwater. Your local area?
Yeah.
Ah, right, so this picture will mean something to you.
Yes, there's indeed.
So this is Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, it gives a good idea of how things were for this building, because they dammed the foss there, backed it all up, and hence there was water on that side and this side for defence.
Yeah.
And quite deep water as well. Okay, the building. You have got 3 floors. As you go up, you shout coming up. If you hear people coming down, you give way. And then when you're coming down, you inspire. So it's a one-way system. Do come in. Come in if you wish. You are...
Thank you very much.
Okay, just take your line out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh,
Sorry.
So, it's a one-way system but on a single staircase. There's plenty of room for single people on the staircase if you don't want to have something before. Each floor is only 12 steps up though. There's rooms above us, we put things on display. If when you've been up and down you want to throw a coin in down our spiral staircase or on the bucket. Thank you so much. You're good at that.
Thank you.
Bye. It helps us pay the rates, because we are a group of volunteers from York Halls who open the building. We open it 20 days a year, but we are charged rates by the company. Did you have you didn't have one of these, did you?
No.
Oh, of course, no. So, now then, that's it. You're going to start going up and shouting and coming up. You do.
Coming up!
No
No answers, because it's okay. Jesus Christ. I'm not really looking forward to coming back down these. Okay. Yeah. It really is that narrow and that steep. Good grief.
Thank you so much.
Yes, right. Coming up.
straight down into the street. Lovely. Beware of Vikings with very long spears.
Waste fell into the river. Very nice. So this is the new. Yeah. Did I catch you before? Do you get little tracks? I think the little lined ribbon in the middle is a really good idea.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's still coming down.
That's fine.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Okay.
I had the exact opposite problem in a submarine in Tallinn.
Oh.
You go out along this little walkway. The submarine is hanging from cables from the roof of the museum,
Oh,
so it's dry.
Right.
You go out along this walkway onto the top deck and down a ladder to get inside, then you have to get out at the same level. So if you get there nice and early and go and explore the submarine and come back to the front, just as the coastload of people arrive,
It's good. Ooh, what a fascinating idea, isn't it? I like that.
well, there isn't a lot of room in a submarine as it is, so they really ought to have
Not a
a
lot. You could
emergency
maybe
exit.
put a hole at the exit where they said the bombs out.
Well, let's have
Come on, quick, quick, come on. Coming up. Coming up. Right.
There's also even worse than this for Mind Your Head.
Yes. Well, there's not a lot of room in the submarine.
There's not a lot of room and there are controls all over the place, including hanging down from the ceiling.
Oh, you're joking.
So if you stoop down to look at something and then straighten up again too fast,
Oh.
you could be underneath basically a crowbar pointing downwards at you.
Right, so. Here's a time scale. So, about 100 AD, you've got the fort based around where the institute and the fountain were going to be. And then they built stone gateways, about 5,000. So, that's the rectangular. And then they built Emperor Severus and Constantine. That's big. And then there's a great big kind of, we don't really know very much about this. They call it the Dark Ages, but it isn't dark. Just no knowledge about it. The Vikings defended Europe. And then we had we had William the Conqueror. Do you remember 1066? Yeah, 1066.
Rushing down to save the enemies and
1066 was the battle.
We'll take up boiling oil.
When William conquered and took over the world, over Britain.
Coming down. I don't think you're just putting this in.
Yeah. So then you've got Scottish coming, and then an Northern rebellion. when filled, the marbles are forced up into the neck by the pressure of the gas, preventing it from being flat. One sort of ridge along the neck of the bottle could stop the marble from dropping into the neck. Into 1872. So they're still using that? Well, that's
Those are
bizarre.
Sainsbury's as well. More. I'll show you. Okay.
You're kidding?
I'll show you.
Wow. I didn't know there was still metal. It's true. They found a man tusk in the dig here. I think it might have been on 2 Oh, that's fascinating. Wow. I would have time.
It's hot as well.
I didn't know.
Are they upstairs?
Yeah.
This is asking
Give it
for.
here. Nice
Here we go.
Coming up. Don't fall.
Because it's very high. And I felt like
Now's a good
I don't
time.
know how we're going to get downstairs.
Now's a good time to tell them.
Yep, I don't know how we're going to go downstairs.
Well,
What are you thinking? Oh my god, there's another floor.
Hey!
really good time to tell them.
Yes, it's an interesting tower. You've probably heard that the roof was added later. We don't know exactly when, 30, 40 years later maybe, but as you can see they've reused old timbers,
Yes.
probably from houses or boats. So it does suggest it may have been done on the cheap.
Yeah.
But if you look around, now we've got electricity in here,
Yeah.
you can see a lot of the timbers are original still.
Yeah.
And it's in pretty good condition. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of work needed on the roof, but otherwise it's pretty good,
It's amazing.
pretty good stage, yes. So originally where you were standing, this
Yeah.
would have been like a lead roof. So it would have looked a bit like this. This isn't this tower, this is another tower.
Right, yes.
But this is what it would have looked like with the lead roof and the watchman's tower. Obviously the
Just
top of
a
the
bit-
tower
just a bit- just
would
a-
have been taken
So he
off.
literally stood up there and watched.
Yes, he would have climbed up the steps. Did you see the steps as you
Yes,
came up?
yeah.
He would have climbed up the steps and then he would have climbed into the little tower. And obviously the tower top was taken off when and the roof was added. But yes, so that's what originally would have looked like. This is Monk Bar.
Oh, right, yes.
And we've got a couple of mason's marks, the stone mason's marks here. There's one in this window here, which is one of the arrowheads.
Oh, right.
And there's one on the window over there on the left-hand side. You can almost see it from a distance. So they look like a stonemason's mark.
Yeah, so that once they actually cut and shaped the stone, they would mark
They
it
would
so
mark
that
it like a
they
signature,
identify
their
the
signature. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, the whole life of masons was so important because, you know,
So
they
the
built
brick
things
chimney
like
is
that.
Yes,
recent
yes.
edition.
Yes, that would be from the ground floor where you saw when you came in.
Yeah.
There was a fireplace, so that would have been bricked up. Yes, and then there would have.
The chimney would have stopped at floor level here when
Yes,
it was open.
yes, it would, because obviously this would have been open originally. Then there was the flue from the first floor.
They didn't share the chimney then?
Sorry?
They didn't share a chimney between the two floors?
No, this was on the first floor.
Right.
Have you been onto the first floor? You saw the bricked up fireplace
Yes.
on the first floor, and then this would be from the ground floor.
From the ground level up.
Okay. Do you want to head off fast then? Because we're a bit slow. Right, okay. So we'll
You have treated this against woodworm, haven't you?
Sorry?
This wood has been treated against woodworm, hasn't it?
I would think so.
Because there's holes in it over there.
Yes, we're not sure where the timbers came from.
Oh, I don't mean these ones. I mean, show you. Where did I spot it? There.
Yes.
That's.
Yeah, they would. I mean, we're going to have to do some work on the roof eventually, but it's just the cost is phenomenal. But obviously, some of the timbers are very, very old. Regarding treatment, I wouldn't be able to tell you about that.
Right.
Whether the gentleman on the bottom floor could tell you, but we do know that there is going to be work needed on the roof. But it's just something to see. We've only just put electricity in, so it's only now we can actually see things. Up to then, we didn't have any electricity. 3 years we've had the electricity in, that's all.
Right, thank you. Oh boy.
This is why swordsmen were always right-handed.
So,
That's what actually it would have looked like. This tower, this is one bar, but where you're standing now, because there wouldn't have been no PVC, so that's the difference. So where you're standing, a few years ago.
the word yikes comes to mind.
And they put trapdoors in.
Coming up!